Welcome to this quiet and honest journey into the deepest layers of our soul. Today, we step together onto a fragile threshold we often avoid, yet need the most. A moment of inner reckoning. We gently close the doors of the noisy world behind us and move toward the long locked rooms of our mind. Perhaps, for the first time, we allow ourselves to simply be here, without the urgency of having to arrive anywhere. Are you truly here right now? Or is your body present, while your mind wanders through the fog-covered streets of years gone by? Does the weight of unspoken sentences still rest on your shoulders? Do unfinished goodbyes echo quietly within you? Why is it that while our body lives in today, a part of our soul still stands guard in a dark corner of the past? Why does the past feel less like a road we left behind, and more like a dense forest we enter every single day? We have spoken before about why painful memories carve themselves so deeply into our minds, and why we struggle to forget them. Yet remembering is one thing. Continuing to live inside those memories is something entirely different. Today, we will speak of these ghosts, the shadows that wake us in the middle of the night, that suddenly tighten our chest, that turn our face away from the present, and lock our gaze on what has already passed. And perhaps, together, we will ask whether the time has finally come to set that heavy suitcase down. When everything falls silent, when the lights dim, and the world seems to close in on you, a faint whisper begins inside the mind. We often think of time as something that constantly flows away, growing distant and never returning. Yet for the human soul, time is less like a river, and more like a vast library, whose ceiling touches the sky. Every second we live, every sunset we witness, the fleeting expression in someone's eyes, an unfinished conversation, or a postponed embrace, each becomes a heavy, leather-bound book, carefully placed on its shelves. The reason the past refuses to leave us is precisely this. That library is the only home we have ever known. Rather than getting lost in the endless emptiness of an unknown future, the mind chooses the solid reality of a familiar pain. No matter how sorrowful those books may be, at least they have been lived. They are complete. The future, on the other hand, is a blank page. And a blank page is frightening for those who lack the courage to write. Human nature clings to everything left unfinished. Many chapters of our lives remain open doors in the mind. Stories read only halfway through. Roads never taken. Friendships that faded without closure. Magnificent beginnings that ended abruptly on an ordinary morning. The mind despises uncertainty. Not knowing how a story ends prevents us from placing that book back on the shelf. We replay those old days, as if repetition alone might reveal a hidden meaning we once overlooked. We tell ourselves, if only I had said this, or if only I had not walked out that door. Yet we are not changing the story. We are merely imprisoning ourselves within the same scene. The greatest secret of the past is this: the past does not exist to be endlessly analyzed and solved. It exists to be accepted as it is and transformed into a memory. Some pages can be closed, even if the final sentence was never written. A sorrowful ending does not change the fact that the book has ended. Some stories conclude by being completed, others by remaining unfinished. This does not diminish their value. As we descend deeper, we begin to realize that our bond with the past is often a hidden sense of loyalty. We believe that leaving behind that period, those people, or our former self would be an act of betrayal. We treat continued suffering as a silent tribute to what once was. We fear that if the pain fades, the memory will fade with it. But remember this: memories are valuable, not because we keep them raw and painful, but because they shaped who we are today. Letting go does not mean denying them. It means acknowledging that you no longer need to carry them as a burden. Saying goodbye to a book does not mean throwing it out of the library. It simply means returning it to the shelf where it belongs. You are not only the reader of those books, you are also their author. And every new day offers you the chance to pick up the pen again, to write the rest of the book. You must turn the page. You cannot build a new story while clinging to old words. Now, pause for a moment. Look around you. Listen to the sounds you hear right now. Notice the light filtering through your window. Feel the cool air filling your lungs. How fragile the loud echo of the past becomes in the presence of the quiet simplicity of this moment. Imagine the white foam a ship leaves behind as it moves across the sea. That trail is a magnificent witness. It shows where the ship has been and which storms it has survived. Yet those bubbles have zero power to move the ship forward. The ship sails, not by staring at its wake, but by fixing its gaze on the endless horizon ahead. If the captain focuses only on that white trail, they will miss new islands, glowing sunrises, and waiting harbors. Your story is no different. The traces behind you matter. Yes, but the helm is always in the hands of the present moment. Life is a miracle that flows quietly past us while we are busy looking backward. Do not wait for the past to release you. It will always be there, resting silently in a corner of your library. You only need to gently close the cover of that book. Then step outside the library. Turn your face toward the sun and take a step forward. What do you say to leaving that heavy suitcase at the threshold today and walking on with nothing but the lightness of your own breath? Because a journey only gains meaning once you take a new step. If this narration touched a door within your heart, consider sharing it with a friend who is trying to quiet the voice of the past. And what about your story? Which unfinished book are you still struggling to place back on the shelf? Let's meet in the comments. Sometimes, telling the story truly lightens the load. Thank you for sharing your time and your soul with me today. Remember, the sun is rising on a brand new page just for you. Until our next journey, take good care of yourself and of today.